Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Soulful Diary. Today we are going to talk about A.K. Ramanujan and his poem A River. But before we dive into your poem, let's know who was A.K. Ramanujan. Adipatti Krishna Swami Ramanujan, popularly known as A.K. Ramanujan, was a poet, folklorist, translator. He wrote in English and Kannada language. He was born on 16 March 1929 at Mysore and he died on 13 July 1990. He earned his degrees from the University of Mysore, Deccan College, Pune and Indiana University. The major themes of his work were hybridity and transculturalization. In 1976, he received the Padma Shri Award, which is the fourth highest civilian award in India. He received the Sahitya Akademi Award after his death. The major works include selected poems, The Striders, the collected poems of A.K. Ramanujan, and Second Sight. Now, let's see what the poet wants to convey through the poem A River. A River is a poem divided into four stanzas of unequal lengths, so it does not have any rhyming scheme. The poet focuses on the Madurai River as it has been described by various poets from time to time. Everyone talks about the river and romanticizes it, but no one talks about the actual problems faced by the people due to the flooding of the river or due to the droughts in the river. Let's study the poem. First stanza. In Madurai, city of temples and poets who sang of cities and temples every summer, a river dries to a trickle in the sand, bearing the sand rips, straws in women's hair, clogging the water gates at the rusty bars, under the bridges with patches of repair all over them. The wet stones glistening like sleepy crocodiles, the dry shaven water buffaloes lounging in the sun. The poet only sang of the floods. The first stanza of the poem has 16 lines and it tells us about the setting of the poem, which is set in the Madurai. It is a place made of temples and poets. Every summer, the river dries up, the river basin becomes empty, there is no water left in the rivers. There are sand rips, straw, and women's hair that uh, blocks the water gates made of rusty bars, which blocks the passage of water. Poet uses consonants with the repetition of G sound. In the lines 6 and 7, the word sand is repeated, which creates repetition in the. There is a repetition of the S sound in the. Everything about the drainage system is very old and it needs repair. The bridge has patches, a fact that is revealed when the water received, when the water does not pass. In the last line of the stanza, the poet uses two metaphors to compare the stones to animals. The wet one appears like crocodile, sleepy and dry as lounging water buffalo. Despite all these drawbacks, everyone just talks about the floods. There is so much more to the city that the poets are ignoring. No one tries to talk about those problems. Second stanza. He was there for a day when they had the floods. People everywhere talked of the inches rising, of the precise number of cobbled steps run over by the water, rising on the bathing places, and the way it carried off three village houses, one pregnant woman, and a couple of cows named Gopi and Rinda as usual. The second stanza of the poem is 11 lines only. The word he in the first line refers to the poet or the speaker himself who is present in the city of Madurai. The speaker says that he was there in the city for a single day. In the stanza, the poet gives a complicated and personal details about the people of Madurai. The details were not hidden by the poet and he gives the information to the readers. Everywhere, one in Madurai talks about the terrible flood and things that resulted from it. It is not just a simple occurrence. Poet gives a detailed list about the things lost in the floods. The floods carried off three village houses, a pregnant woman, and a couple of cows named Brinda and Gopi. The name given to the cows makes these lines a bit lighter in tone to the previous ones. Stanza 3. The new poets still quoted the old poets, but no one spoke in verse of the pregnant woman drowned with perhaps twins in her kicking at blank walls even before birth. The third stanza of the poem is 7 lines only. The poem makes the similarity between the old poets and new poets. They both spoke about the floods, but no one dared to talk about the tragedies that were caused by the floods. It is very disheartening to realize the fact that the new poets tried to copy the old poets. There was no evolution in the style or the subject of the poets. In the fifth and sixth lines, the poet says that it is possible that the woman who drowned in the floods was carrying twins, increasing the number of life lost. This is an interesting contrast as water is meant to fertilize the land and makes it possible for the crops to grow. But now, here life is destroyed as the floods occur in the city of Madhya. Stanza 4. He said, the river has water enough to be poetic about only once a year, and then it carries away in the first half hour 3 village houses, a couple of cows named Gopi and Brinda, and one pregnant woman expecting identical twins with no moles on their bodies, with different colored diapers to tell them apart. The last stanza of the poem is 15 lines long. The speaker of the poem repeats his words from the second stanza, telling us about the lives lost, 3 villages, houses, one pregnant woman, and 2 cows named Gopi and Brinda drowning in the floods. And there are additional given details given in the final stanza. It tells that the twin babies did not have any mole for identification. They were to be differentiated on the basis of diapers. This has a deeper meaning as well. It speaks of the lack of care with which the poets approach the land and the people. There's no desire to know who these people are or quest to adequately depict their suffering. Everyone just tries to romanticize the floods, but no one wants to talk about the actual problems of the people of Madurai. Poetic devices. Simile. Simile. What is simile? Simile is used to different. Simile is used to make a comparison between two things using the words like or as. In the poem, the wet stones glistening like sleepy. What is alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds like couple of cows before birth. Enjambment means uh, breaking a line and discontinuing the line and continuing it from the next line. Like there are many instances of enchantment present in the poem. Repetition. The final stanza has repetition of lines from the second stanza of the poem, which tells about the details of the life lost in the floods. Thank you. I hope you liked the video. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you have queries, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. Thank you.